Hey guys, it is Orletha. I am hanging out here after the new year. It is nice and rainy here in Southern California, so I thought today would be a really good time to show you how to cut up a whole chicken, because a lot of people are intimidated by whole chickens, and I think that they are super easy and super fast, especially if you have a good knife. So I'm going to talk to you about this chicken and a good knife and how to make, why it's even so much more cost efficient and a lot easier to just buy a whole cut up or a whole chicken as opposed to a cut up chicken. You're going to spend way more money on a cut up chicken than you would a whole one. So what's your favorite part of the chicken? That's my question of the day. My favorite part is the wing. I love chicken wings. I could eat chicken wings all day long. So I absolutely love them. Let me know what your favorite part of the chicken is, and we are going to get started. So first thing is your knife. This is a cleave knife. This is our 20 dishes chef's knife. It's an 8-inch knife. And one thing you want to look for in a knife is you want to make sure that it's comfortable. For one, it needs to be really comfortable in your hand. This knife has a super soft grip, and so I really like it. It's also made of molybdenum, which, here's a lovely chemistry lesson for you. Molybdenum and vanadium, those are the two elements that are blended with steel to make this particular knife. And molybdenum actually makes it really strong. So that means that this edge won't dull very easily. And when you sharpen it, it sharpens easier than other knives might that are not made of that. And it's also made of vanadium, which it prevents corrosion, which is why it's stainless steel. So it's steel, and it's molybdenum and vanadium, which, yay, hey, St. Louis. And so that means that it is going to be pretty strong knife. Also, when you're looking for a knife, you want to look for weight. This particular knife is weighted. It's very heavy, and it's, well, not very heavy, but it's heavy enough so that you're not using all your strength to cut down through something. I like a weighted knife. Some people prefer a non-weighted knife, and if that's the case, that means you're going to have to be really skilled when you're cutting, because the knife isn't going to have a lot of weight. It's totally up to you, but this is a weighted knife, and it makes it easier to cut through things as you're cutting. And so it falls with more force, so it makes it easier to cut up things, especially like with a chicken. And then the last thing you want to look for, but not definitely the last thing, but balance. If the knife feels heavier towards the front or heavier towards the back or side to side, you want to make sure that your knife feels balanced in your hand when you're holding it. And that way you know that it's going to feel really good in your hand. And that's totally up to you how it feels to you, but you want a nice balanced knife. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is how to hold it. This is an 8-inch knife, which is the most versatile. And this, again, is on the 20 Dishes site. They're 15% off today, or you get the whole bundle for $40 off. But you want to hold your knife. You want to choke up on the handle. So definitely not up here. That's not very safe. You don't want to be back here because you'll be using more of your arm strength. You want to choke up on your knife, on the handle, and make sure that it's sort of like a pinch here, because my fingers, if you notice, my fingers are right there, and it feels really good right there. And so when I'm cutting, I'm not going to be back here using all my arm strength. I'm going to be using more of the knife's strength. Remember, it has weight in the back. So let's get started on cutting up this chicken now that we have given you a little bit of a knife lesson. And then I also have my kitchen shears, my versatile kitchen shears, which I absolutely love these shears. They're right and left-handed, so it doesn't matter which one you are. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do with my chicken is I'm going to start with the legs facing me. But I'm going to sort of push down a little bit, and there's this little line here that I'm going to create. The reason I'm pushing down is because I want to make sure that I don't end up with a naked breast. You want a naked breast. You want to make sure you got your skin on your breast. So I'm just going to push down here, feel that, and I'm going to make my first cut right there. Okay? And so as you can see, I've made that first cut there, and I'm just going to pop that out. Here's the bone. You can see that bone there. Super easy to see that bone. Now all I'm going to do is cut around. Now, I do want to point out that this little piece here is known as the oyster. This piece is so juicy and so tender and delicious that you don't want to cut that off and throw that away. So I'm going to cut around the oyster with my knife. Just make sure I got that in there. I'm going to turn my chicken over, and I'm just going to continue my cut right there. Okay, and since I already popped out the joint, super easy. There's my first piece. Okay, so I'm going to just flip that puppy back over. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to push that skin down again, because If you don't, you're gonna end up with a naked breast. You don't want naked breasts. So I'm gonna push that skin down a bit, and I'm gonna cut just through there till I can see the joint, and I'm gonna pop that joint right out. And there's that bone again, so I'm just gonna pop that out. This is a fryer chicken, yes. So this is a fryer chicken, and again, this is that oyster. If you can see that little piece of meat, that is the oyster, so I don't want to cut that off. So I'm just gonna cut right on through there, flip them over, and cut through right there. Okay, so you can see as I'm cutting, the joint that I popped out on the other side, let me get that piece of, that joint that I popped out is right there. So it's really easy to see and easy to cut right through. All right, so I got those two pieces. Now let's talk about the wings, my favorite part. Oh, I love wings. So with this wing, I don't want to cut a bunch of the meat off of the breast. I want to leave my breast intact. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start on the back of my chicken, because I'm just going to make a little circular cut around there, because now I can see the joint again. Okay, remember, we're looking for joints. It's all about joints. And then I'm just going to cut around my chicken, and I'm going to flip them over and go underneath that wing. Okay, there we go. Okay, and again, once you feel that joint, you can pop it out. Okay, so I just pop that joint out, and I'm just going to cut that wing off. I'm going to put that wing right in the bag. Whole chicken. All right, and do the same thing with the other side of the wing. Start on the back, because again, I don't want to cut too much of the breast off. My husband is a breast man. That probably didn't come out right, but whatever. I'm going to pop that out so I can see that joint and not cut too much. There we go. Nice little wing. Pop that in there. So now what I'm left with is a beautiful breast and a backbone. This is where my kitchen shears come in. So I'm just going to use my kitchen shears, and I'm going to cut right up the backbone. Now some people, if you want to, you can break it off. It's easier for me to cut. So I'm just going to cut my backbone right off of there. Now I keep my backbone. This is my prize for cutting up my whole chicken. This I can use to make the most delicious chicken stock, which you can probably see a pot back there because I made chicken soup yesterday. But you can make the most delicious chicken stock with this. You can just toss it in a pot, throw some onions, some carrots, whatever little vegetables you have, and put it in a pot, put it to boil, and let it go. And you have the most, I tell you, I can totally tell the difference between homemade chicken stock and the stuff I buy in the store. And homemade is way better. It's like juicier and butterier. That's a word. Anyway, so I'm going to put that in my bag over here, second bag where I keep my frozen backs, and I'm going to just toss that in the freezer because I don't need it right now. All right, so I'm going to finish up with this breast. What you can do is you can take it and you can just break it right down there in the middle. And there you go. Okay, so if you have a good chef's knife, a nice weighted knife, that is one of the easiest cuts. Because now I have two breasts. Now if you want, you can cut these breasts down. I don't need to cut them down, because one thing about why I wouldn't cut them down is because breasts tend to cook at a different timing than thighs. And if you cut them down, they're smaller and they overcook. So I leave them whole, pop them right in the bag with the other chicken. And now let's get to this last piece, which is, last two pieces, which is the thigh and leg. Now, how do you separate these two? Now, I'm going to pick up this thigh so you can see. This thigh and all thighs, whoops, my bag fell over. This thigh and all thighs have this nice fat line. That tells me where the joint is. So I want to cut closest to the leg, and that'll tell me that that's right where that joint is. I don't have to guess, because you definitely do not want to be trying to cut through bone. I don't care what kind of knife you have. It's not good for your knife. So I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to right there on that line, hold my chicken, cut right through it. Super easy. Okay, I'll show you again on this next thigh. Okay, there's my fat line right there. So here's my leg, there's my fat line. I'm going to put my knife right next to that fat line, and I am going to cut right down through that joint. There's the joint. Okay. So there's my whole chicken. I now have 8 pieces of chicken there. I'm going to take them all out for you just in case you didn't get to see them. There's my leg and a thigh, another thigh, nice little thigh, another leg, and there's one of my breasts, the second one, and my 2 wings, which came off first. Okay, so that is how you can super easily cut it down and get the prize of having chicken backs for your stock and all of the gizzards and the innards. So that's totally the most cost efficient way. And again, you get the prize of having your own stock. Our knives are on sale on 20 dishes. So if you're looking for this particular knife, it is on sale. It's 15% off. You can also get the bundle of knives, which is this knife, the paring knife, and a utility knife for $40 off. So the cost right now is $55 for all 3 knives, which is amazing. So that's this week only. Wanted to show you how to break down a chicken because it's amazing. I'm going to give my hands a wash because I don't want to touch my phone with chicken fingers. And then if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I did put the links to everything in the video. So if you're trying to figure out where to get stuff, it is all in the video. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys. I hope you had an amazing new year. I know I did, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.